how do you how do you run a program where you aren't anywhere near what you're looking at? I mean, how do you run a program where you don't even own the infrastructure you're
Yeah, no,
hunting?
for sure. Well, it really does come back to the infrastructure that you do own from a technical standpoint. Like if you got people working from home, at the very least, you own the VPN connection into your organization. So like that's a potential source of information, a potential source of logs that you can go back and kind of splunk through from a threat hunting standpoint. Um, if you've got standardized imaging and you've got different things that are reporting from a telemetry standpoint, like antivirus and EDR and all that kind of stuff on your endpoints. Just thinking about that through the lens of it basically being in the equivalent of a hotel or an airport or a cafe the entire time. I think in terms of like digital transformation with security triggered by the pandemic, we did a whole bunch of stuff really, really quickly because we had to. And speed is the natural enemy of security because you end up just optimizing for availability and not thinking about everything else. So starting at that point and thinking through like what kind of assumptions in our risk model that we now have did we miss through that process of just figuring out how to all work from home. And then what can we use that's already available, to your point? Because there is always going to be existing infrastructure, I think, to some degree. It's just a matter of being able to identify it and use it. And then beyond that, kind of what I was saying before about the threat model of a cafe or a hotel, like I treat my home network like I don't trust my family from a corporate IT standpoint in the home. And it's not, I think they're awesome, right? It's not about that. It's not a personal thing, but from a targeting perspective, the adversary can figure out who they are and probably assume that their level of personal defense is lower than mine, and actually use that as a pivot point to try to get to me. And I think the same is true for basically everyone who's working from home, who's a target of interest at this point. And it's really an extension of the corporate network. So